Cha-cha. Watchmakers think of all sorts of clever ways to make watches look unusual, so we'll buy another new one. Different numbers, Roman numerals sometimes. This is a clever watch, but what time?
Middle where I totally lost the part where I, was supposed to be prepared for a show that I was recording, Chuck.
Well, and unfortunately, you caught me. It's like, what else? There was something.
What is the third thing? Yeah. What's that one in the middle as well? Chuck Joyner is here with us, everybody. Chuck Joyner, host of Mac Voices. Where are we on Mac Voices now? Because I know you're doing Mac Voices live. That's in addition to Mac Voices, or have you gone for the time all live?
No, we do live Tuesday nights, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And then those shows are done on YouTube live with whatever audience wants to come and participate. And then I take those and release those as regular Mac Voices shows. I cut them up into smaller segments that are a little easier to get through, and release those as regular Mac Voices segments, interspersed with the usual interviews with software developers and authors and whoever else I end up talking to. The idea there, of course, is that live shows are great, but that it's a tough time slot for the West Coast people here in the U.S. and for just about anybody else in any other part of the world. Right. So it's sort of a mashup.
And people can find that at macvoices.com. We'll give you all the information. Or you can follow Chuck on Twitter, either at Chuck Joyner, that's Joiner, either at Chuck Joyner or at Mac Voices. And away you go. So Monday on this show is news to Chuck, except not this week. Monday on this show this week was news to everybody. So we moved It's News to Chuck to Tuesday, and I got no idea what we're talking about. Chuck?
Yes, Ken.
Well, no, that was me throwing to you. It's like we're on the news desk. But I got no idea what we're talking about. Chuck?
Apple Watch.
Apple Watch. That's not news. It's like 12 or 15 years old now.
Well, yeah, but I'm just ending, as we record this, about 2 weeks unable to wear my Apple Watch.
Unable to wear your Apple Watch?
Unable to wear my Apple Watch because I was dumb. I did some yard work, and I got a nasty case of poison ivy on both arms and elsewhere.
Okay.
And of course, unfortunately, as great as the Apple Watch is, it's an irritant. And so instead of getting calamine lotion all over my Apple Watch, I just opted to start to take it off. And I was shocked at how much I missed it. I did not realize how much my Apple Watch had become part of everyday life. One thing, I think it kind of happened at first because I did not realize during the pandemic, how much more Apple Pay has become available as a service out there at so many more places. Mm-hmm. And I was used to using it that way because obviously it's touchless, so that helps a lot. And so now, I went to the grocery store, got my groceries, went to put my wrist down to pay for it, and instead, put a poison ivy infested arm down on the scanner. Right. Sorry about that to the next people. But and I then, just in the course of those 2 weeks, I realized that I started missing text because my phone was not necessarily out in my hand or in front of me, whereas before it would have, at least vibrated on my arm, if nothing else. Mm-hmm. Reminders weren't there. I like to watch the stock market. The Stocks app is suddenly not available on my wrist the way it was. My Notes app was not available the way it had been, and of course, activity tracking. I just completely went silent on that as far as the watch went. And it really made me stop and realize just how much this device that you picked up and said, well, I'm an Apple fan and I do a show about it, so I should have one. Right. How it became integrated and involved in my life. And I'm looking forward to, I am hoping this week, I think I can stop scratching enough to put it back on. And so, yeah, Apple Watch was news to me, and I've been using it, like you say, for how many years?
Right. Interesting. So you can't wait to put it back on is what you're saying. Because I'll be honest, I've thought about taking it off before and just seeing if I'm more at peace, which may sound crazy, but like every time something happens on my wrist, I'll I'll go to my wrist. And the thing is, so on the checklist, which is the show that I do for the guys over at Secure Mac, one of the guys who's now involved with that show is in Thailand, I think. Honestly, I can't remember. But he's in nothing like my time zone. And so sometimes if I'm up late working, which I am often, all of a sudden he'll start popping off with text, and I want to take my watch off and throw it across the room because I'm in the middle of something.
But I think that's also just part of information management that we all, have our ups and downs with. Because I know if you go to your favorite news service and turn on alerts, it'll drive you out of your mind.
Yeah, no, I turned that off almost immediately. The time that the New York Times said breaking news and then followed that with a recipe for something, I wanted to go to New York, honestly, and anyway.
That's an absolute perfect example. So yeah, maybe you haven't, Ken, but I've set up do not disturb times so that my watch doesn't disturb me, in the middle of the night with text from somebody and wherever they are.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I really felt like I've been missing. I don't want to overstate it, but I've just been missing a big piece of the way I manage information and access information that I do on a daily basis, maybe even an hourly basis. And so, it just gave me a new appreciation for the watch. So when somebody says now, hey, how do you feel about the Apple Watch? Yeah, I feel a whole lot stronger than I maybe would have expressed a couple weeks ago from a use case standpoint.
I have a few more questions for you. Do you use contacts or glasses?
I use reading glasses.
You use reading glasses, okay. And you don't have any problem seeing what's on your watch?
Not really.
Okay, no. That's interesting because that's one of my biggest things. Like I can look at my watch and see, oh, I got a message, but I'm going to have to go to my phone. Either that or if I happen to have my glasses on me at the time because I don't keep them on me constantly, but I seriously can't read what's on my watch anymore because that's how bad my eyes have gotten. I don't quite do the large numbers thing on the time, but yeah, it's not. I'm envious of you actually being able to read your watch because mostly what my watch gives me is an indication, and then I either have to find my glasses or go to my phone. What watch are you wearing right now? Not right now, obviously, because you still have the Poison Ivy. But what watch are you sporting?
The 6.
6. Okay. Will you go to the 7 or will you stay with the 6?
Just like always, I will wait and see what exactly the features are of the 7. I'd be lying to you if I said I probably will go to the 7.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, I got over, at least for some certain pieces of hardware that need to have the absolute latest.
Mm-hmm.
Now it has to make sense for me to upgrade, or can I skip this one and wait for the next one?
Right. Did your activity fall off without it there going, hey, it's time to stand up. Hey, it's time to move around. Hey, or do we need to call somebody?
Yeah. No, my activities trailed off because of the Poison Ivy.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes perfect sense.
All of a sudden, it didn't seem like a good idea to go out and walk as much as I had been or anything else.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. One last question. So somebody who's never had an Apple Watch before, are you now... I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, has Apple Watch made things so much better for you that you would encourage everyone, or are you now just an Apple Watch junkie who you'd still be like, yeah, it's fine for you if you don't want it, but I got to have it from now on?
I would, a little bit of both. I will admit to being now an Apple Watch junkie. I've discovered that I am. I didn't know I had a problem, but I apparently do.
Hi, Chuck.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say look at everything. Rip down a feature set and go and read a bunch of articles as to how different people use their watches. And don't necessarily just rely on what Apple tells you, but look how real people really use their Apple Watch and figure out if those are things that would mean something to you. And if it is, great. And if you're not sure, find some place that you can return it after 30 days and then give it a good hard run and see what you think of it. Because I keep going back to it. I was just so surprised that the Apple Watch has become so important to me.